Hello, so yeah, I'm a bit worried about the UK's response to Corona. If you've not seen it, it's worth watching some of the press conferences they did on it, but basically, where a lot of nations are going sort of full stop now, you know, closing schools, closing sort of big sporting events, things like that, what the UK has decided to do is basically carry on doing nothing, arguing that according to social science people aren't going to follow quarantine rules anyway, so we might as not well do it, basically. They've put in more complicated words than that, but that seems to be what it boils down to. And they seem to be arguing that, oh, if we just basically impose big quarantines, like after a month people get bored and just go out anyway, why you can't just do what a lot of other nations are doing and impose fines or, you know, prison time on people for doing that, I don't know. Because I'm sure there's going to be some idiots that will intentionally or unintentionally spread this, even if they have all the symptoms, you know, going, oh, I've got to go to work or I've got to go out and do what I was going to do anyway. So, it's a bit worrying. Now, the reason as much as I have no scientific background in this, because obviously that's the thing, as much as I find NBC warfare type stuff interesting and I like reading about it, you know, I obviously don't have any training in biology and virus spreading, virology, you know. The thing I find, you know, suspect is that if you look at Singapore, if you look at Taiwan, if you look at Hong Kong, all those three countries, nation states, whatever you want to call them, have basically taken much stronger measures and are managing to curb the flow much more. So what they're doing is basically, by doing these stricter measures, although people are still catching it, you've got a curve going like that. Whereas when you do nothing, you essentially have a big bow curve like that. And that's obviously a lot more worrying, because if you're doing what the UK is doing, you end up getting oversaturation of hospitals and they can't cope. That's what's going on in Italy. So apparently even the Italian Prime Minister is now saying, like, Britain, what the hell are you doing? Please look what's happening to our country, you know, and impose the measures faster than we did so you can, you know, not have so many people die from this. But now our government seems to be going, no, it's fine. You know, and there are good arguments either way for some of the points, don't get me wrong, that, you know, I don't want to be too harsh on people that think in certain ways, because again, there is some evidence to back it up and you have to weigh all these things up, and I think no matter what you do it will be wrong. But simply to take an attitude of essentially doing nothing seems to be incredibly dangerous. They've also said kind of worrying things like it's not desirable to stop everyone catching the virus. You know, in the same conference where they said lots of your family members are basically going to die before their time. So this is quite worrying stuff. So my advice to everybody is, because it seems our government is going to probably completely bungle this, it doesn't really surprise me because our governments have been bungling things, whether it's been Labour or Conservative, for the last 20-30 years. Probably what you should do is, again, look into masks, look into doing some basic prepping type stuff, because it sadly looks like it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. So I'll probably be carrying on with the nearly daily live streams at the moment talking about Corona, because obviously that's what everybody wants to talk about and following the updates on it. Obviously stay safe everybody, that's the most important thing. If I learn anything to do with masks or respirators that might be useful information, I'll hand it out. For the most point, I want to mostly do daily videos going back to the more fun, enjoyable topics, such as Geiger counters and deadly levels of radiation, and stuff like that. You know, that's a joke obviously, that's still a morbid topic, but you know, I think people want probably a break when they're not watching the live streams from Corona. So yeah, anyway, I'll post updates as and when they happen, but yeah, I'm quite worried by the UK government's response. As much as you shouldn't panic and worry, you know, if you should have a concern level that's not full-blown panic, I've got to say the concern flags are being raised at the moment by the government, basically saying, oh, we don't think it would help to impose any sort of quarantines whatsoever. So yeah, there we go.